Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Ya Rabbi shrah li sadri, yassir li amri, wahlul uqtatam min lisani, yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're all very well. This is your Ustadha Anika, and today we're going to have a very interesting, very practical session. It's only a half an hour session, so keep your questions coming. Firstly, I hope you can all hear me. Otherwise, let admin know if there's anything wrong, and comments and questions all in the YouTube comments. And there's somebody sort of, relaying that to me, inshallah. Let's have a look. Okay, very good. So today's session is, because I have done the metaphysical side, I thought it is better to do the physical or the practical side as well. I have been receiving some questions. My sisters, my brothers have been sending me some questions. So I thought, why don't we do it more like a question answer session? If some of the questions are interesting and you want a bit more clarification, send it to the admin and they'll relate to me, inshallah. So let's start. So, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله عز وجل في كتاب المبين يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. That fasting has been obligated on us. No ifs, no buts. As soon as Ramadan comes, we know fasting is obligated. So the first question that I was asked was, what about intention? Do I have to make my intention before I begin my fast? And what if I forget? So I need to clarify something very clearly. There is something called ta'yinun niyya, which is basically an intention that is required. And another thing is called tabyit, that you have to do the intention before Fajr. Now, for three types of fast, now I'm gonna say this slowly. There are three types of fast on which you do not need to do tabyit. Ta'yinun niyya. Ta'yin means to make an intention. Intention is in your heart. You know that you're fasting. It is different from the fact that you just haven't eaten and drunk all day. You know that you're fasting. That's a clear intention in your heart. Whether it is articulated or not, the intention is in your heart. That's ta'yinun niyya. Ta'yin is always needed. Tabyit is the question, whether you need to do it the night before. So, once Ramadan enters, it is obligated on all Muslims who fulfill the conditions of fasting to fast. So there is no need for tabyit. However, it is important that they have done ta'yin before Dahwatul Kubra. Now, what is Dahwatul Kubra? I'll explain that in a minute. So, whether it is the fasting of Ramadan or it is the fasting of a day that you have vowed that you are going to fast that day, that you have said, okay, oh Allah, if my son passes the exam or I pass this exam or something, I am going to fast for 3 days and I'm going to fast this coming, let's say, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You have vowed that fast. That fast is set. It is done. When Thursday comes, even if you do not repeat the niyyah before Fajr, your fasting has started. Okay? That is what we call, you don't need tabyit for it. So that's a vowed fast. Then you have a fast which is an unconditional voluntary, we call nafal fast. Because it's Ramadan, I don't want to really talk about nafal fast, but it is important to know. So if you have woken up in the day and you decide before Dahwatul Kubra that you're going to fast, that's fine. You didn't have to do tabyit for it. You didn't have to decide the night before. You can decide any time before Dahwatul Kubra that you're fasting. And just even if you woke up thinking, oh, I will be fasting, this is a nafal fast, okay? Not in Ramadan, a nafal fast, not a vowed fast, a nafal fast. You can easily say by 12 o'clock, or not 12 o'clock, sorry, Dahwatul Kubra, which is not 12 o'clock. So don't ever think 12 o'clock has anything to do with the Islamic Dahwatul Kubra. You can anytime say, oh, I'm not fasting, or I am fasting. Now, what is Dahwatul Kubra? Halfway between Fajr Azan and the Maghrib Azan, the halfway point between that is Dahwatul Kubra. It is on an average 50 minutes before the Azan of Zuhr. So I will repeat that. What is Dahwatul Kubra, before which you should have ta'yinun niyya, a firm intention in your heart that this is your fasting day, is Dahwatul Kubra, which is halfway between between Fajr Azan and Maghrib Azan, which is roughly about 50 minutes before your Zuhr Salah. That's for the three types of fasting I have said. All of Ramadan, a vowed fast and any nafil fast. Rasulullah Sallallahu was once came in and asked Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha that is there anything to eat? And she said no. And then Rasulullah Sallallahu said, I am fasting today. So the intention was made later on in the day, a little later after breakfast. And then another time there was Rasulullah came into his household, and Rasulullah was said that was presented with a gift of a food and Rasulullah was told that, oh, this has been given to us as a gift. And Rasulullah said, oh, I had been fasting up till now, but then Rasulullah ate it. So this is where we get the concept of Dahwatul Kubra. So that's the intention done. Questions that I have been sent with is what is the Dahwatul Kubra? I have discussed that. Okay, being in a state of janaba pre-dawn does not affect your starting the fast. We've discussed this in our little question answer sessions we had with all the teachers there. So I'm not going to go into much detail, but no. Even if you've done, if it's Ramadan, or even if it is one of your vowed fast, it is a voluntary fast, any of it, as long as you do the intention, even if before Dahwatul Kubra, even when if you were in a state of janaba, when you woke up after Fajr, no problem, that's fine. Carry on. Question. I started a voluntary fast, but just before midday remembered that I had to attend a family social gathering. I opened my fast. What are the legal consequences of this? None. It's a voluntary fast. Voluntary fast can be opened before Dahwatul Kubra. It is not a problem. If you have intended that you're going to fast and that time has passed, then you should make that up later. If you opened it, it's of no consequence other than the fact that you have to. Opened voluntary fast becomes obligated once it has been intended. Once you've started it and you had to open it, no problem. It's a family social gathering, something, but Dahwatul Kubra has passed. You have to make it up later. That is for the Nafal fast. Another question is, on Monday I fasted and made intention to fast on Thursday, but I forgot to specifically articulate this intention for Thursday prior to the dawn. Will my fast count? Yes, it will, because it is a vowed fast, like I've explained before. So, Teba, I'll say to you that if there are any questions regarding this, keep sending it in the chat. It's difficult for me to look at the YouTube. As we... good. So, second thing is, let's go to the second point that I needed to make. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to answer the moon questions. Oh, there's a whole Facebook page for that. There was a moon question, not answering the moon questions, not getting into moon wars. You've got a website if you're really interested. It's called New Crescent Society. It's on Facebook. Join it. All your questions will be answered. Okay, actions that do nullify the fast and actions that do not nullify the fast. And what is the difference between Kaffara, Kada, and Fidya? So these three words, they confuse people. They say Kada when they mean Kaffara, when they mean Kaffara, they mean Kada. And they don't know what is Fidya, when it should be given, all of that. So I'm going to discuss this now. Question is, let's see the question. Not doing the... Okay. How was the expiation covered in? Okay, I can discuss this. My mother started fasting on the 30th of Shaban, just in case it was Ramadan. But then we found out that it wasn't Ramadan, but she said to be safe, she thought she'd fast anyway. Okay, now there's a very clear direction given by scholars about this matter. If it is a day of doubt, Yawm Shak, the only fast that Rasulullah advised us that we can keep is a nafal fast, nothing more. Ideally, do not fast because it is very difficult to keep your intentions pure. Unless it is a Monday and a Thursday and you are in a habit of fasting a Monday and a Thursday. That is the only time you should keep that fast. Otherwise, please do not keep that fast, because we were clearly advised by Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, do not keep the fast of the last day of Shaban alone. It is better not to do it. And if in hindsight it becomes clear that, oh yes, it was Ramadan, you can make it up later, but do not fast a nafil fast on that day if you cannot keep your intention firm. So that is the advice about that day. Can I brush my teeth with toothpaste when I'm fasting? What if I accidentally? So I've answered this before, but I'll go over it again anyway. Okay. I only advise use of a toothbrush without toothpaste, which is akin to the miswak of the old times, because not everybody is walking around with a miswak these days. You can rinse your mouth out, you brush your teeth and you spit. You do not try to brush your molars and your upper sevens and your back teeth such that it will make you gag and it will make you vomit or something. Don't go too far, or the risk of swallowing some water. If you swallow water accidentally when you are trying to brush your teeth, your fast is invalidated. There has to be a Kada of it. You can still not eat or drink or have relations with your spouse for the rest of the day, and you still have to make that up. So why would you put yourself in that position? Isn't it? Why would you do that? Yes, so no toothpaste, because I advise against it. It's not that the toothpaste per se will break your fast or the mouthwash per se will break your fast. It is that if you accidentally swallow it, there's a clear distinction in the Hanafi fiqh between forgetfulness and accident. I'll cover it in a bit more detail when I come to things that invalidate the fast. But accidents are not excused, especially when you have yourself intentionally put yourself in that position. Okay. Okay, we have a question. Aside from etiquette of fasting, why can you still not eat, drink, etc. if the fast is invalidated, or is it purely out of etiquette of the month? Not at all. It is nothing to do with the etiquette of the month. This is a big misconception. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was it was a person came to Rasulullah and said to Rasulullah that, oh, the Jews are fasting on the day of Ashura. And Rasulullah said, everybody who has woken up and is fasting, which means has not had breakfast, should carry on and complete the fast. Those who have had their breakfast should not eat or drink for the rest of the day. Clear command from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is the etiquette of when it is a day when the Muslims, when that is only a sunnah fast. Yeah. And the same happened in Ramadan when one person came to Rasulullah and said, I have sighted the moon. Rasulullah said, read the Shahada. Do you believe that there is no God but God? And do you believe that I am the messenger of God? And he said, yes. And Rasulullah said, the witness of one Muslim is enough for us. All of you who have not eaten, you are fasting. Those who have eaten are not eating for the rest of the day. So clear instructions from Rasulullah. So this is where the rulings from the Haid comes in. So you have woken up and you have seen a bit of spotting. So obviously spotting or whatever is after Fajr, it is your last day of bleeding. You will, let's say that last bit of your bleeding happened before Zuhr. You've had your ghusl for Zuhr Salah. You cannot eat and drink after that day. It's not that you are fasting on that day, but we are going against the direct instructions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there's a bit more than adab and etiquette. So there's some evidence behind that. Okay, so I'll carry on. Now the question is about, let's set some principles. Let's set some guidance as to what breaks the fast and what doesn't break the fast. So if we in our head have some clear principles, then our day-to-day questions we can answer ourselves. Number one, what enters, so let's discuss things as if, so what are we not supposed to do when we're fasting? Not eat, not drink, not have relationships with our spouses. Yes? So eating and drinking means an external substance is entering into the body. Now, this is where all the practical elements come in, and hence the name of the topic, the practical fast. So The body is it's not just fiqh that will guide us. Medical science guides us, and that is why fiqh evolves. If you look at older books, there were some things that were, oh, this will break the fast, this will break the fast, but scientific evidence and the ijtihad of the scholars in collaboration with their medical colleagues have led them to give a slightly different opinions. And this is where I am going to discuss asthma with you and the use of inhalers. That is still evolving, by the way. So let's first discuss what enters into the body and how can we have clear. So when we think of things that enter into the body, it can be that it is the presence of a substance. It must reach the jawf, and the jawf in the terms of fasting is your alimentary tract or your digestive tract, but it doesn't begin at the mouth. It begins at the throat. So further down from the mouth, where the oronasopharynx start, more or less, I would say, is your throat, all the way to your anal sphincter. All the way to your anal sphincter, that's your jawf. Okay. So if a substance of discernible body enters your jawf, it invalidates your fast unless there is an excuse present. I will repeat this. A substance of discernible body enters your jawf. Jawf is from your throat to your anal sphincter. Of its own, and can stay there of its own accord without the absence of, in the absence of any excuses, will invalidate your fast. Now let's open this statement up. So what's a discernible body? A discernible body is, it doesn't have to be, you can't say that something that you know is matter. Okay, I can simply put it like that. So it can even be something like a big piece of lump of meat or something like smoke. It doesn't need to be of a nutritional or medicinal value. It can be a stone, yeah, a big stone that you voluntarily swallow. Yeah. It can be solid, liquid. It can be gas from smoking, shisha or whatever. That's a discernible body. Okay, so now that is entering your jawf. Now, entry is very, very important. Like I said to you, if it enters through your throat, it enters your stomach or your intestine, that's your jawf, isn't it now? Yeah, from there all the way to your anal sphincter, that's your jawf. Now, oh, what about istinja then? That I was asked once. So when we're fasting, can we not do istinja? Okay, there is an answer to that, is that you cannot anything less than a finger through the anal sphincter, as long as it's not a suppository and a medicament, yes. When you're doing an istinja, any entry through your anal sphincter up to the depth of, more than a depth of one finger, will invalidate your fast. Less than a finger will not invalidate your fast. There you go. Your istinja question answered. Okay, not a problem there. So istinja, please carry on doing your istinja. Yeah. So now that brings me to the fact that, okay, how do things then enter the jawf? Let's then discuss everything. We have a few, we have 10, yes, about 10 ways that things can enter into our body. We have our mouth, our nose, our ears, our eyes. We have the anal and the vaginal sphincters, the entry. We have the urethra. An injury. An injury can be an abdominal injury or a head injury. Okay. So, and then the pores on your skin. Yeah, the pores on your skin. So, if, so that's, I've given you 10. Now, I'm going to tell you which one of these are invalidating entry points and which one of them are not, the non-invalidating entry points. So, or just to keep it simple, which one will break your fast and which one will not. Number one, mouth. So if something external of discernible body enters your mouth and then enters your throat, it will invalidate your fast? Yes. Okay. It is on the intention that I will discuss Kaffara and, Kada. Let's not talk about that just yet. Nose, yes, because it is connected to the throat. So nasal sprays, yeah, beware. Ears, no. In older books, you will find, including the books that we studied, Nurul Ida and all of that, it said that, because they used to consider the brain and the jaw connected. Pre-anatomy discussions, yeah, they used to consider the brain and the jaw connected. We know that is not the case. Yeah, your brain is not connected to your digestive tract. The ear is also not connected directly. It's connected to your, I don't want to go into the anatomy. So eardrops are okay. Eyes, question. A lot of problems with these eye drops, and all these people who have glaucoma drops, stop taking them in Ramzan. Please don't do that. Keep taking your eye drops, because the eyes, we have a precedence here in a hadith. You see, this is where we're going to bring the hadith as well in. The eyes have a connection through the nasolacrimal duct to the nose. The nose has a connection to your throat. The nose is connected to the nasopharynx, which is connected to the oropharynx. That's your throat. However, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself wore kohol and advised, it is one of the most beloved sunnahs to wear kohol, which means it went into the eye. And the Sayyidah Aisha said that we used to wear kohol while fasting, even if we tasted its bitterness in our throats. Because we have this hadith, eye drops are good, easy. Please use your eye drops. Okay, very important for the safety of your eye, especially those who have glaucoma. Anything entering the rectum through the anal sphincter or the anus, if it is just a sinja and it is less than a finger deep, no. If it is a suppository or anything else that a foreign body is entering, yes, it will invalidate your fast. So, and then we come to the urethra or the urinary tract, the urinary passage. No, if anything enters from there, it will not break your fast. What now? This is where my sisters ask me a lot of these questions. Is what about a gynecological examination, a smear test, and things like that? It will not break your fast. If you've had a gynecological examination, and if you got a bit of bleeding there post that date, you just change your garments and it will break your wudu, definitely. You don't even need a ghusl for that or anything. You just carry on. It has not broken your fast. So a gynecological examination or a smear test will not break your fast. Okay. Now comes the fact that we have a deep head injury. The head injury in itself will not break your fast. However, if you lose consciousness or something, then your fast is invalidated and you will have to make it up later. And anybody who has a head injury, the invalidation of their fast should be the least of their problems. So let's not worry too much about it. However, if you've got a head injury that the basal skull is fractured, which means that the base of your skull has fractured and it has gone into your throat, that will definitely, because that's now connected to the jaw. It's a life-threatening situation. Let's not worry about the fast in that situation. But a head injury will not break your fast. A deep abdominal injury, which means that some external thing or the injury has opened part of your intestine or your stomach, yes, that will break your fast. But I think more pressing concerns if that happens, isn't it? Yeah. Very important, because you see, head injury is discussed in. Why am I talking about head injury and body injuries? Because it's written in all the fiqh books. All the fiqh books that I myself studied, it's all written in there. So we have to discuss these things and bring them into modern light. So to summarize, mouth, yes. Nose, yes. Anal sphincter, so suppositories, yes. And a deep abdominal injury, which will connect the outside to your digestive tract, your intestine or your stomach. Yes, these are the 4 entry points that will break your fast if some discernible body enters your jaw through these 4 entry points. So what will not break the fast? So let's have a little, look through that. Injections, whether they are on your buttock muscles or your arms or anything, they will not break your fast. Okay. Intravenous injections will not break your fast. Vaccination will not break your fast. Aha, sisters ask me, what about makeup? I would say depends. I'm going to come to excuses in a minute, and I will cover asthma when I cover that. But acupuncture, no. Asthma pump, we will discuss. Contact lenses, no. Creams and lotions, not at all. These are pores of your skin. They got absorbed, not at all. Deodorant, no. Eardrops, no. Endoscopy, yes. It will break your fast. Donating blood or getting a blood transfusion. Okay, if you need a blood transfusion, you better open your fast and make it up later, please. Donating blood, if you're in a habit to donate blood, then please carry on doing so. It is not a problem. However, it is frowned upon if you feel it will make you weak and it will compromise your fast. Eye drops, carry on using eye drops. Injections do not break the fast. Intravenous drips do not break the fast. Lighting incense, I don't even know why you will ask me that question. Lighting incense, okay. No, you're not smoking the incense, I hope. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about bahor and agarbatti and all those kind of things. Lip balm, dependable. Makeup on the rest of the face does not break the fast. However, if you put lipstick or lip balm and then lick it and swallow it, it will invalidate your fast. Okay. If you are very careful, very practical, putting lipstick or lip balm on your lip or Vaseline on your lip, for men and for women, it will not break your fast in itself if it stays there. But if you lick it and some bit you swallow a discernible body, then it will break your fast. So be careful. Makeup as such does not break your fast. Mouthwash, again, same toothpaste rule. If you swallow even a little bit by accident, it will break your fast. So why compromise yourself? Unless you're going to a very, very important interview. It's your job interview for life, yeah, and you do not, and it's for Ramadan and you don't want, the etiquette is then, yeah, you use a bit of mouthwash in the front of your mouth and rinse out with water as best as you can. I advised then spit 2 or 3 times to satisfy yourself and then get on with it. Nose spray, yes, nasal sprays break the fast because of the whole Jauf rule. Patches. Good news for smokers. Unfortunately, I have to give this advice that nicotine patches, HRT patches, none of them break your fast. So if you're menopausal and you're on HRT patches, my sisters, please carry on using your patches. Those who have other medicaments delivered via patches, please carry on using them. They do not break your fast. Swallowing pills and tablets, of course, it will break your fast. Smelling food will not, smelling perfume will not, smoking will, of course. Discernible body of smoke enters your jaw. We know the smoke not only enters the lung, it enters the stomach as well. Suppositories will break your fast. Yes. Toothpaste, I've discussed, it depends. Vaginal examinations will not break your fast. Now let us discuss. Any questions about that, guys, while I'm just flicking my pages? You can put in your questions. No, that's fine. Just give me a second. Let me have a look myself. Okay, so we now have extenuating circumstances of forgetfulness. So there are excuses. Forgetfulness is excused in our religion. So if you're fasting and it is not an accident, you haven't deliberately put yourself and you forgetfully, you forgot and you ate and drank anything, it doesn't matter. Even if you ate a full meal, it doesn't matter. Your fast is okay. It hasn't. But as soon as you remember that you're fasting, you spit out or you rinse your mouth out and you stop, and you carry on fasting for the rest of the day, your fast is valid. What is stuck between the teeth, if it is less than the size of a chickpea, they say, after suhoor, and if you end up swallowing it, it doesn't matter. But the etiquette is brush your teeth. What if a very small amount of something enters that you cannot distinguish? Now, what is unavoidable? I will go over it. Water a bit of moisture that remains in the mouth after wudu, it's okay. If you have a lot of waswasa, I have said it, just spit 3 times, that's fine. When you are showering, you have a bit of dampness, no problem. People have post-nasal drips. So if you have a post-nasal drip, it doesn't matter. It doesn't break your fast. Snot, saliva. However, it is extremely frowned upon to collect saliva in the mouth, to swallow, because that is one of the makruhats of the fasting. But swallowing saliva, even if the saliva comes onto your lip and you just lick it, that doesn't break your fast. As long as it's not lipstick, but it's just your own saliva, it doesn't break your fast. Sometimes, people lick their lips. So, right, if it's a clean lip, that's okay. There is the other question. Now, gardening. And a lot of my brothers and sisters who live in Scotland by the lochs know this, that in summer months, there's a lot of flies and midges and all sorts around water, and it is impossible not to swallow a few. Oh, I've been there, trust me. So bugs and flies, if accidentally swallowed, unavoidable, does not break your fast. Obviously, if it's in your mouth and you can spit it out consciously, that's fine. But if some of them, they just fly straight into your throat and sometimes straight into your nose, and God knows where they disappear, that's okay. That does not break your fast. Dust, if you're working in a dusty environment, some of my brothers who may be in the construction industry, that's okay. You can't help it, can you? Smog in a traffic, those who work in a flour mill and things like that, obviously not anymore. The health and safety doesn't require, allow that. Construction workers, basically all okay for them. Unawareness. Okay, so now the things that are, now let's discuss asthma. Asthma is a very topical thing because there's a difference in opinion amongst scholars, even amongst my own teachers. They differ slightly. My own opinion, and this is slightly taken from half from this teacher and half from that teacher. My own opinion is that, look, there are two types of asthma. There's an asthma that is controlled, very well controlled, and then there's brittle asthma. Okay. If your asthma is well controlled, which means that you have an inhaler, which is either your steroid inhaler or one of your preventive inhalers, and if you regularly take it, you can take it at suhoor, or you can take it after iftar. You can take it not in the daylight hours, and it will keep your asthma controlled. And you can do that, and you can do that. Yeah. Then that's fine. Use that. Then if such a person out of laziness doesn't take his medication and ends up opening his fast because of having to use the ventil inhaler, the relief inhaler, then yes, it will invalidate your fast and you have to make up one day later afterwards. However, it becomes increasingly impossible for people who have brittle asthma, who just have to have their inhaler throughout the day, and they do not know when their asthma will come on, and there is no pattern to it. Then it is a darura for them. It is haraj for them to ask them to make up the whole Ramadan again. You see. So for such people, but this should be done with full awareness and the blessings of a qualified, Muslim scholar and discussion with their GP as well. That for them, if they have to use the inhaler, it will not invalidate the fast, because research has been done that the amount of particulate matter that actually enters your stomach with an asthma inhaler, especially if it is used with the spacer device, is very minimal, and it is more akin to perfume than to smoking. Yeah. However, this decision cannot be taken individually. Generally, this is not a general statement. Generally, asthma inhalers invalidate the fast. That is the general ruling. Exceptions, which is the excuses part. The exceptions apply when you have brittle asthma with the blessing of a qualified scholar and through your GP. That if you are somebody who just cannot do without inhaler, then you cannot be, obviously, the religion is not, religion is not a hardship. You can then use your inhaler and get on with your fasting. So there are these two different rulings, but these are individual rulings, not to be given lightly. If you were sleeping and accidentally something entered your mouth, then it will invalidate your fast. Unfortunately, we consider this accident. So is with unconsciousness. What if you're forced to eat or drink? It will invalidate your fast. You have to make it up later. Invalidating the fast out of necessity. Okay, so look, happens to me all the time. I'm a dentist. So patients will come in screaming, crying in pain. Just open your fast. There's no need to scream and cry in pain. God does not want you to suffer and be in pain and be fasting. Open your fast. You just have to make that one day up later to have treatment, to have medication, to be comfortable. Okay. When you're ill, you're not supposed to fast anyway. Yeah. So if you have to take a sudden migraine medication, or a sudden illness comes upon you and you have to take medication, then take medication. Open the fast take medication, that fast is now invalid. You have to make it up later once a day. This brings me very nicely. Let's see the questions first. Bear with me. I'm just looking at these questions here. I've discussed the discernible substance. I have told you what is an entry point, what is a valid in unforeseen circumstances. I have discussed with you Fidya. So this brings me very nicely to Fidya. Just let me see if I have to. Okay, I haven't covered about intimacy and this and that. I think we will leave that for another time because I think I'm really running out of time here. Let me see if I have any more questions. Okay, so no, I have some questions here. So the question is, what is Fidya, what is Kaffara, and what is Kada? Kada is for everything I have told you. You have not intentionally eaten food, intentionally drunk something, and intentionally had relationship with your spouse, intentionally, then you have to do qada. If you have done it intentionally, it is kaffara. What is kaffara? Kaffara starts off by freeing a slave, cannot be done in this day and age, there are no slaves around. Then 60 days of consecutive fasting, which do not have an interruption of the two Eids or the Yom Tashriq, the 3 days of Eid, the Eid al-Adha that we say, the 3 days of after Eid, yeah? So because we are not supposed to fast these 5 days, Eid, the two Eids, and of course the Eid, the Eid al-Adha, and then the 3 days after that. So you have to then start that fasting after the second, after Eid al-Adha. 60 consecutive days, and there cannot be any interruption. For sisters who have menstruation, the menstruation does not invalidate the 60 days. So they stop when they start menstruating and they start again and they complete the 60 days. You have one kaffara for various fasts broken in one or many Ramadan. So this is this is what I have studied, and this is what I've studied and I found. If you have another opinion from another scholar, please follow that, but do find out it is one kaffara. However, if you have a few of the kaffaras, or if you have broken a few fasts intentionally, yes, then there is one kaffara for all of them. Once you've done your kaffara, then any fast that you have broken after this kaffara, you will have to do another kaffara. But until the one point, it is one kaffara for all intentionally eating, drinking, relations. Okay. Second is Kada. Kada is all of that. Accident happened. You swallowed water, or toothpaste went in, or mouthwash went in, or you had to open your fast for medical reasons. You had to take your asthma inhaler when you normally don't have to take it. This is not brittle asthma. You had to swallow some medicine. You had to take a pill. You were involved in an accident where you had an injury and your abdominal cavity got open, heaven forbid. All of this, the fast is to be redone. Only one day of that you have missed, the kada has to be done. There is no kafara. Kada is just one day. You make it up with an intention. And once you've done the intention has to be done the night before. Tabyit has to be done for all fasts that are due upon you. So all fasts that are due upon you, that you have to clarify the intention, you have to do it before Fajr. You have to do it anytime after Maghrib and Fajr before the next day. So if you're fasting on Monday, you have to do it Maghrib time, which will of course be the Sunday night. Okay. So that's how you have to do it. And you have to clarify that this is the fast of your Ramadan. Another quick question that is here is that, can I do the Shawwal fast and my Kada fast together? Yes, you can. In the Hanafi fiqh, you can combine niyas and do your obligated fast and your nafil fast together. No problem. You can join the two. Easy for us, Hanafis, huh? Whoa, there's so many questions. I think I'm running out of time here. Let's have a look. Okay, guys, so I've just got 5 minutes to go. I'm just thinking, let me quickly discuss Fidya. So a lot of people, I come across a lot of Muslims that come, oh, I can't fast. I'm this, I'm that. I'll just give Fidya. Fidya can only be given by somebody who cannot fast until their last days. If you think you have an illness but you will recover at such a point in time that you can make up the fast of Ramadan, you cannot give fidya. What is fidya? Fidya is to feed one poor person one half a sa'a of wheat. What is sa'a? It is 1.6 kilograms or equivalent of wheat or equivalent amount of money to somebody who is poor. So every day that you have left a fast of Ramadan, and you know that till your dying day, till your deathbed, you cannot make that fast up because you will not recover enough to be able to keep that fast, then you can give fidya for every day of Ramadan that you have not fasted. A fidya is 1.6 kg of wheat or its equivalent in money to a poor person. Every day, one for one, half a sa'a it is called. So these people who say, oh, I'm not feeling this today, I'll just give fidya. No, you cannot give fidya because look, we have winter months, we have short days. Unless you are sort of end of life sort of situation, really, and you know you will recover enough and you are well enough that you can make up the fast, then fidya is not allowed for you. That was fidya. And let me quickly see if there's any more questions. To be honest, I think we're out of time. HR pages, I've sun, asthma, I have discussed. Eye drops. Kada, I have discussed. Gynecological examination, I have discussed. Let's look at the last one. Bear with me, guys. Okay, we don't have time for the etikaf questions. So unfortunately, I think we have run out of time. Unless there are any more questions, inshallah, even if you guys couldn't see this live, it's a good session to remind yourself of little things. Specifically before next Ramadan will start, it will be a good idea to start this video and watch it so you revise yourself and answer all your own questions. It's nice to revise the practical elements as well as the spiritual elements. So may Allah make it easy for all of us, inshallah. I will end the session now, inshallah. Unless there are any questions, let's quickly look in the chat. I don't think I have any questions. So let me see, bear with me. Of course. Yeah, no questions. So inshallah, I will see you all next week. I'm just telling you now that I am going to be discussing zakat. I'm going to be discussing a little bit about the spiritual elements of zakat, but it is mostly going to be about the practical side of zakat, because you get a lot of questions. So can I give my zakat to a charity? Can I have it make a well? Can I give it to a madrasa? Can I give it to my auntie? So I will answer all these questions. So do tune in next week, inshallah. It's another practical session. Until then, سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.